The Galactic Council chamber was one of the largest structures in the known galaxy, and on this day it was full of voices, lights, and quiet judgment. Representatives from hundreds of alien civilizations sat in tall rings that circled the center platform, watching a large holographic screen floating above the chamber floor. On the screen was a small blue planet, simple and quiet compared to the massive worlds many species called home. The planet was Earth. Humanity had joined the Galactic Council only 3 years earlier, and most civilizations still did not take them seriously. Their ships were slower than advanced alien vessels, their weapons looked simple, and their technology seemed years behind the great powers of the galaxy. Many species believed humans were curious, creative, and brave, but not dangerous. Today, the Council had gathered for a special presentation from the human delegation. The human ambassador stood alone on the center platform, calm and confident, while hundreds of alien eyes watched him closely. A tall reptilian council officer leaned forward and spoke with a sharp voice. "Human ambassador, the Council understands you wish to present a new military development." "Yes," the human replied politely. A quiet murmur moved across the chamber. Another alien representative, a tall silver-skinned diplomat from a powerful empire, gave a soft laugh. "Humans presenting military technology," he said to the delegates beside him. "This should be entertaining." Several others laughed quietly. The human ambassador did not react. Instead, he raised a small device and activated the display. The holographic screen changed, and a new image appeared in the center of the chamber. It showed a single spacecraft floating in dark space. At first glance, the ship looked strange. It was not smooth or elegant like most alien designs. Its metal surface looked rough, and its shape was simple, almost unfinished. Small sections of exposed structure could be seen along the sides, and its engines were large but basic in appearance. Some delegates leaned closer to examine it. Others immediately began whispering. Then someone laughed loudly. "This is their new weapon," one alien general said. "It looks like a construction vessel," another replied. More laughter spread through the chamber. One council member from a large insect-like species shook his head slowly. "Humans are bold, but this is not impressive," he said. The reptilian officer checked the council records and spoke again. "Human ambassador, is this vessel operational?" "Yes," the human answered calmly. The silver-skinned diplomat smiled with clear amusement. "And what exactly is this ship supposed to do?" he asked. The human ambassador looked around the enormous chamber, meeting the eyes of several alien leaders before answering. "This vessel is Earth's first experimental defense prototype," he said. For a moment there was silence. Then the laughter returned even louder than before. One alien commander leaned back in his seat and spoke loudly enough for half the chamber to hear. "You brought the entire council here to show us a prototype." Another voice joined in. "A very ugly prototype." Several delegates began speaking at once, some joking, some dismissing the presentation completely. After a few moments, the Council's classification officer spoke while reviewing the human technology reports. "Based on current evaluation," he announced, "humanity remains classified as a minor threat to galactic stability." Many delegates nodded in agreement. The human ambassador simply folded his hands and waited. But far above the council chamber, in one of the highest observation seats, an old strategist from a quiet and ancient species watched the hologram carefully. Unlike the others, he was not laughing. His narrow eyes studied the human ship again and again. Finally, he spoke softly to the council members near him. "You should not laugh so quickly," he said. One delegate looked at him with confusion. "And why not?" The old strategist leaned forward slightly, still watching the strange human vessel on the holographic screen. "Because humans rarely show their true strength," he said quietly. "They test it first." And far away from the council chamber, in the dark silence of deep space, Earth's first prototype was already preparing to prove him right. Far from Earth, deep in empty space, the human prototype floated quietly near a wide asteroid field. Thousands of large rocks drifted slowly through the darkness, spinning and colliding in slow motion. This location had been chosen carefully by human engineers. It was far from any planet, far from any trade routes, and safe for a dangerous experiment. Several alien observation ships waited at a long distance. They had come to watch the human test, mostly out of curiosity. Many of the alien officers on those ships still believed the prototype was nothing special. On one observation vessel, a tall reptilian commander watched the strange human ship through the main window. The prototype looked even simpler up close. Its metal surface was uneven, its shape was blocky, and many parts looked exposed. "This is the weapon they showed the council?" the commander asked with disbelief. A technician beside him checked the sensor readings and nodded. "Yes, Commander, that is the human prototype." The commander crossed his arms and gave a quiet laugh. "I have seen mining ships that look more advanced than this," he said. On another observation ship, a group of alien scientists studied the same vessel. Their sensors scanned every part of the human craft. But the readings were confusing. Energy levels were low. Shield strength was average. And the engines were not very powerful compared to galactic standards. "It makes no sense," one scientist said slowly. "If this is a weapon, it is a very poor one." Back inside the prototype ship, the human crew worked calmly at their stations. The bridge was quiet but focused. A human commander stood at the center console watching the asteroid field ahead. "Engineering, report," he said. A voice answered through the ship speakers. "Prototype system ready, energy levels stable." Another officer spoke from the navigation station. "All observation vessels are at safe distance." The commander nodded slightly. "Good," he said. Then he opened a communication channel. "Attention all observers," he announced calmly. "This is the human experimental defense prototype. We will now begin the first activation test." On the alien observation ships, several officers leaned forward with interest. Some activated recording systems, expecting at least something unusual to happen. The human commander gave the next order. "Begin energy charge." Deep inside the prototype, a hidden system powered on. At first, nothing seemed different. But slowly, the alien sensors began to detect something strange. Energy readings started rising. Then rising faster. The reptilian commander on the observation ship looked down at his sensor officer. "Report," he said. The officer looked confused. "Energy levels are increasing, Commander, but the source is unclear." "How much energy?" The officer stared at the screen with wide eyes. "It is very high." Back on the human ship, lights across the control panels turned bright blue. The commander watched the countdown timer appear on the central screen. "Prototype system ready," the computer announced. "Primary pulse prepared." The commander spoke calmly. "Target the asteroid field." Outside the ship, the prototype slowly rotated toward the drifting rocks. Alien observers watched closely, waiting to see some kind of weapon fire. Missiles, lasers, plasma cannons, anything they understood. Instead, the human ship simply grew quiet. Then the commander gave the final order. "Activate pulse." For 1 second, space itself seemed to flicker. A faint wave of invisible energy moved outward from the prototype. There was no bright flash. No explosion. No sound. But the asteroid field ahead suddenly changed. Thousands of massive rocks vanished instantly. Not shattered. Not burned. Not pushed away. They were simply gone. Empty space remained where the asteroids had been only moments before. Across the observation ships, alarms began to sound. Sensors struggled to explain what had happened. The reptilian commander slowly stepped closer to the window, staring at the empty region of space. "Where did they go?" he whispered. No one on his ship had an answer. Back on the prototype bridge, the human commander checked the results calmly. "Energy drop confirmed," an officer reported. "Target field completely cleared." The commander nodded once and spoke quietly. "Prototype test successful." And far away, in the Galactic Council chamber, the laughter that once filled the room was about to disappear. News of the human test spread across the galaxy very quickly. Every major civilization received the sensor recordings from the observation ships. The reports all showed the same strange result. An entire asteroid field had disappeared in a single second. Not destroyed. Not broken into pieces. Simply erased from space. Many scientists tried to explain the event. Some believed it was a new type of energy weapon. Others thought humans had discovered a strange form of space manipulation. But the truth was still unclear. Inside the Galactic Council, the reaction was mixed. Some leaders were worried. Others were curious. But a few powerful empires were not impressed. One of those empires was known for its massive fleets and long military history. Their commanders believed no young species could become dangerous so quickly. To them, humanity was still a small civilization from a small planet. A single prototype weapon did not change that opinion. During a private council meeting, one of their admirals spoke confidently. "Humans only showed a test," he said. "They have one prototype ship, nothing more." Another officer nodded in agreement. "A weapon is useless if it cannot be used in real combat," he said. After a short discussion, the Empire made a decision. They would test humanity. Not with a full invasion. Just a small show of power. A warning. A fleet of 6 warships was sent toward the outer region of human space. The ships were large and heavily armed. Each one carried powerful shields and advanced weapons that had defeated many enemies before. The alien fleet moved confidently through the star systems near Earth. They did not hide their arrival. They wanted the humans to see them. On Earth, human defense networks detected the fleet almost immediately. Military stations across the solar system began tracking the ships. In a quiet command center on Earth, human officers watched the alien fleet slowly approaching. No one panicked. The situation was serious, but the humans remained calm. After a few minutes, a message was sent to the alien fleet. It was short and clear. "Unknown fleet, you have entered human-controlled space. Please change course and leave immediately." On the bridge of the alien flagship, the fleet commander listened to the message and laughed. "That is their response," he said. "They sound nervous." One of his officers looked at the tactical screen. "Human defense ships are moving into position," the officer reported. "How many?" the commander asked. The officer paused for a moment while checking the readings again. "Only a few small patrol vessels," he said. The commander smiled confidently. "They know they cannot stop us," he said. "Send them a reply." The communication officer nodded. Moments later, the human command center received the alien message. "This region of space will now be inspected by Imperial authority," the alien commander said proudly. "You will not interfere." Back on Earth, the human officers listened quietly. Then a senior commander spoke calmly. "Send our final warning," he said. The message was transmitted across space. "Leave human territory immediately," the voice said. "This is your last warning." On the alien flagship, the commander shook his head slowly. "Humans and their warnings," he said with amusement. Then suddenly, one of the sensor officers spoke loudly. "Commander, new contact detected." The commander frowned slightly. "Another human patrol ship?" he asked. The officer stared at the sensor display, his voice becoming uncertain. "No, sir," he said slowly. "It is something else." Across the dark emptiness of space, a single ship appeared near the edge of the system. Its shape was simple. Its metal surface rough and unfinished. But every officer in the alien fleet recognized it instantly. It was the same ship they had seen in the test recordings. Earth's experimental defense prototype had arrived. And suddenly, the alien commander was not laughing anymore. The alien fleet waited confidently, their weapons ready. They had strong shields, advanced lasers, and hundreds of years of experience in battles. But the human prototype was different. It was not just one ship. It was a system. Every station in the solar system, every satellite, every small ship near Earth connected to the prototype. It was a network, working as one. The fleet commander laughed at first. "They cannot stop us," he said confidently. The human commander, standing on the bridge of the prototype, spoke calmly into the communication channel. "You are inside human-controlled space," he said simply. "Please leave immediately." The alien commander's laughter echoed across space. Then the humans acted. Suddenly, the alien weapons fired. Lasers, missiles, plasma beams, all aimed at the Earth system. But nothing reached its target. The prototype created a strange field in space. Energy pulses moved outward, absorbing the attacks. Missiles slowed and stopped. Lasers bent away. Plasma beams vanished before reaching the planets. The alien officers stared in disbelief. "What is happening?" one of them shouted. The human prototype remained still, calm, and quiet. Then a single pulse of energy moved outward from the network. It hit the alien fleet. Ships disappeared instantly. No explosions, no debris. Empty space where the warships had been moments ago. The remaining ships tried to retreat, but the network followed them. Every movement they made was tracked. Every action blocked. Another pulse, and more ships vanished. The alien fleet panicked, their confidence shattered. The commander tried to call for reinforcements. But the prototype intercepted every message. The humans did not attack aggressively. They only defended their territory. And the aliens quickly realized something terrifying. This was not just a weapon. It was Earth itself defending humanity. No single ship, no empire, no alien technology could match the coordination. The prototype network reacted faster than any attack. It learned, adapted, and protected. The fleet commander's hands shook as he stared at the holographic readings. How is this possible?" he whispered. On the prototype bridge, the human commander smiled slightly. "Defense complete," he said calmly. "All targets neutralized." The aliens could not understand the full system. They could only retreat and wonder. Across the solar system, every human station, every small ship, every satellite, had done its part. Connected through the prototype network, Earth had become an invisible fortress. Powerful, precise, and unstoppable. The Galactic Council observers were watching from afar. The laughter that once filled the chamber was gone. Every civilization realized one simple truth. Humans were not weak. They were clever. They were disciplined. And their minor threat label had been a terrible mistake. For the first time, many species truly feared human potential. And far from the council chambers, the old strategist who had warned the other aliens smiled quietly. "I told you," he whispered. "Humans do not build weapons for war. They build them to make sure war never starts." In that moment, across the galaxy, one lesson became clear. Do not underestimate humanity. Do not mock them. For when humans act together, even a simple prototype becomes unstoppable. And the alien fleet would remember this day for centuries. The day they learned that surviving humans was not easy. And Earth's real strength was just beginning to show. Days passed after the alien fleet had retreated. The Galactic Council received the reports from the outer systems. Every sensor reading, every recording, every message confirmed the same story. Humanity had defended its space without losing a single ship. The prototype network had erased enemy vessels almost instantly. The laughter that once filled the council chambers was gone, replaced by quiet murmurs and careful whispers. The human ambassador arrived at the council once again, calm and confident. He stood on the central platform as hundreds of alien eyes stared. "Representatives of the Galactic Council," he said politely. "You have seen the results of our defense prototype." Some council members nodded slowly. Others avoided looking directly at him. A few who had mocked humanity weeks ago now looked nervous. One of the oldest and wisest aliens, a strategist from a quiet species, rose from his seat. He addressed the council, his voice soft but firm. "I warned you," he said. "Humans do not build weapons for war. They build them to make sure war never starts." The ambassador smiled faintly. "Our goal was never to attack," he said, "but to show that Earth and humanity are prepared to defend ourselves." The council deliberated for hours, reviewing every report and every recording. They discussed the humans' abilities, their clever systems, and their discipline. Finally, the classification officer spoke. "Based on new evidence," he said carefully, Humanity's status must be updated. The room was silent for a moment. From minor threat, he continued, to strategic power. The words echoed through the chamber. Several aliens whispered in surprise. Many nodded, finally understanding the truth. The human ambassador remained quiet. He allowed the council to adjust their records. And then, he spoke again. Humanity hopes to work with all species in peace, he said. But we will not allow threats to our home. Outside the council chambers, news spread quickly. Across the galaxy, civilizations that had doubted humans now reconsidered their opinions. They studied human technology, watched their systems, and tried to understand their strength. Every species learned the same lesson. Mocking humanity had been easy. Underestimating humanity was dangerous. Across the Milky Way, one truth became clear. Humans were clever, united, and unpredictable. They were a species that could survive, adapt, and fight in ways no one expected. And even in the most advanced civilizations, respect for humanity grew. The alien fleet that had tried to test Earth never returned. Their leaders warned their commanders, "Do not provoke humans again." And the old strategist, who had observed everything from the beginning, smiled quietly. "Humans are not just another species," he said. "They are a force that the galaxy must respect." Back on Earth, the prototype network remained active. Silent, calm, and ready. The human officers watched the stars, knowing that this was only the beginning. The galaxy had learned its lesson the hard way. And humanity had proven one simple truth. They were never a minor threat. They were a power to be reckoned with. And as the human ambassador left the council chambers, he spoke to no one in particular. "Our prototype worked," he said. "And the galaxy now knows why humans should never be underestimated." Far across the stars, civilizations paused, studied, and prepared. And somewhere, quietly, humanity smiled. Because the galaxy had finally learned the truth. The humans were not weak. They were unstoppable when united. And the story of Earth's first prototype would be remembered for generations.